Hi, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Proud to live in the greatest country in the world. Unfiltered opinions, no PC discussion here. Agree, disagree, hate it, love it, it's all good. Sit back and enjoy some unfiltered commentary. We discuss politics, culture, interviews, and more. Your comments are always welcome. Please help the channel by hitting that subscribe button. Doesn't cost a thing. And as always, thanks for your support. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Opinion from Larry Elder. Trump won his other campaign to destroy media credibility. That's true. I got a lot of respect for Larry Elder. I like him a lot. He was one of the producers of the documentary Uncle Tom. If you ever get a chance to see it, I know you can buy it on YouTube, and there's many other locations as well. Do it. It's a very, very well made and very, very good. Let's see what Larry has to say. Convinced that President Donald Trump has lost his bid for re-election, immediately suddenly became less hysterical. What a shocker. Just like that, the media, at least to some degree, rediscovered concepts such as fairness and perspective. EWOL the last 4 years, of course. 2 weeks after the election, New York Times Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist Nicholas Kristof haltingly, grudgingly, and reluctantly admitted that, yes, Trump was right. Banning in-person school education to fight COVID-19 wasn't his bad policy. Kristof wrote, "Some things are even true, even though President Trump says them." You son of a... You know what? All of a sudden now, the guy's not so dumb. He's not a Hitler. He's not a racist. He's not stupid. He's not, all these things. Kristof wrote, "Some things are true even though President Trump has said them. Trump has been demanding for months that schools reopen, and now that he seems to be largely right." So he couldn't even admit he was right. He's largely right. No, it's not entirely. These guys are still pompous asses. Schools, especially elementary schools, do not appear to have been major sources of coronavirus transmission. Well, everybody knew that. I knew that. I'm not even a doctor. Remote learning is proving to be a catastrophe for many low-income children. Kristof, of course, would not acknowledge Trump's correct judgment without the "some things are even true, even though Trump said them" snark. But remember, this is the New York Times, a paper that has not endorsed a Republican for president since 1956. Little steps. Oh, by the way, I'm 64 years old. I was born in 1956. Unbelievable. I didn't realize it was that long. Kristof even took a Trump-like swipe at Democrat-run cities. And whether inadvertently or not, he made the case for K-12 vouchers for inner city kids. So Democrats helped preside over school closures and have devastated millions of families and damaged children's futures. Cities such as Boston, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. have closed schools while allowing restaurants to operate. School closures magnify these inequities, as many private schools remain open, and affluent parents are better able to help kids adjust to remote learning. That's true. At the same time, low-income children fall even further behind. It's like these Democrats, they want the cities to collapse. They want all of these low-income kids and minority kids and white low-income kids, all of them, to fail. I don't get the strategy. I really don't. They want them so busted and so ruined that they have to depend on the government forever. Are they really that evil? Is it really, really that bad? There are times again after the media awarded the election to former, even question the science behind a ban on outdoor dining, like most counties in California recently enacted. And small gatherings spread the virus. But are they causing the surge? ? The Times wrote. There are dinners and backyard barbecues really the engine driving the current surge of infections? Available data do not support that contention, scientists say. Still, the idea has been repeated so often it has become conventional wisdom, leading to significant restrictions in many states. Yeah, that's the old propaganda trick from the old Soviet days. You repeat something as many times as long as people will believe it as truth. That's the oldest trick there is. But many epidemiologists are far less certain, saying there's little evidence to suggest that household gatherings were the source of the majority of infections since the summer. Indeed, it has become much harder to pinpoint any source of any outbreak now that the virus is so widespread and Americans may be exposed in so many ways. A constant drumbeat about the dangers of social gatherings may help to convey the seriousness of the current surge. Harvard University infectious disease epidemiologist Julia Marcus said, on the other hand, in some states, the misperception has led to draconian policies that don't even square with science. This is for somebody from Harvard. It can't get any farther left than that. Goodness, if Pulitzer gave a prize for fair and balanced corona stories in the post-Trump era, the New York Times might actually deserve this one. You know what? I don't want to hear it. Of course, she said that tongue-in-cheek and sarcastically. I know Larry, and I've listened to him a lot, so I know he didn't mean that truthfully. You know what? All these guys can, as they say in the old days, bite me. I have absolutely no respect for any of them anymore. I'm a former Democrat, former local elected official. I used to be a city councilman back in the early 2000s, from 2000 to 2007. And I was a Democrat then, now Republican, changed in 2013. And I'll tell you what, I'm done. I'm done with every single Democrat. I don't care if it's a dog catcher all the way through the president. Well, the 4 years of bashing this poor guy, yeah, he's got a lot of faults. Who cares? Thee without sin, throw the first stone. You know what I mean? But his policies were marvelous. They were great. And since they came from him, they have to be wrong. Well, now they're saying maybe not. You asses. How nice of you to admit it after the election. I am so fed up. And by the way, the reason why I'm not ever voting for any Democrat again, even if they're the better candidate, I just won't vote for either, is because of the fact that the last 4 years, local elected Democrats at the local, county, state, and federal level thought, I'm sure a lot of them thought what was going on with the President Trump was absolute nonsense. But they said nothing. You know what? They just as guilty as the ones that did. They bit their tongues because they wanted to save their own asses. Well, you know what? They all should be voted out and gone forever. Spineless and gutless. That sounds a little tough? Too bad. Former Washington Post reporter Carl Bernstein, yeah, there's a beauty, shared the mood of much of the Trump-hating left when he accused Trump of homicidal negligence in his handling of the coronavirus. But Dr. Anthony Fauci, post-election, also sounds Trumpian. On the possibility of further lockdowns, Fauci recently said, there is no appetite for locking down in the American public, but I believe that we can do it without a lockdown. I really do. You could still get business going. Yeah, and he said today on CNN that lockdowns are necessary and the holidays. You know what? All these guys are such hypocrites. Such hypocrites. They go on Fox and other conservative channels, there isn't many, and say one thing and go on these other, well, I'll just say right out, retards, and say something else. It's ridiculous. They're worse than the politicians. The difference why they're worse is you can't get rid of them. You can't vote them out. You should still have economic forward thinking while you're doing that. You don't necessarily have to shut everything down. Hopefully, we won't have to do that. No appetite for another lockdown, question mark. What happened to the follow the science? This is yet another tacit admission, as Trump insisted, we must consider the unintended consequences of shutting down the economy, including increased rates of suicide, depression, homicide, drug abuse, alcoholism, and domestic violence. Oh, by the way, these same retards want to defund the police. Oh, my God, my God. How did we get here? How did we get here? Did this start in the 70s? I got high school in 74. And slowly over time, the progressives and leftists and the Marxists took over the colleges, and conservative people sat around and said nothing. Didn't fight them at all. That's the one thing Republicans are really crappy at. They don't fight back. Maybe Trump taught them how to do that. But I'm not sure from another episode that I have concerning the immigration changes and the visas for the high-tech jobs, the Republicans cave. So I'm not so sure. We'll see. Finally, did serial Trump CNN critic Jake Tapper, of all people, literally praised and credit Trump for the speed for which drug manufacturers have apparently developed vaccines for COVID-19. Yes, he did. Tapper said, we should take a moment, as we always have when discussing vaccine and Operation Warp Speed. Take a moment. The only moment time you gave to was pounding to Trump, pounding Trump, pounding Trump. Now let's be reasonable and rational and fair, and I'll try to get along. Bite me. Kiss my, you know what. Speed that this is, putting aside all the failures of the Trump administration when it comes to the coronavirus, and there are lots, this is unmitigated success, and we should acknowledge that. Oh, great. Yeah. After you call him Hitler and a monster and a homicidal maniac, that he killed hundreds of thousands of people needlessly because he's stupid and negligent. Jesus. For 4 years, major media, along with the Democratic comrades is right, banded together to bring down Trump. They appear to have succeeded. But as to Trump's campaign to expose the media's blatant, often vicious anti-Republican bias that so much of America will never trust it, Trump won huge. And explains on to Larry Elder some of the books he wrote. Again, I want to say that if you ever saw Uncle Tom, it's a great documentary. I know Larry Elder was a major part of that. Yeah. Yep, Trump brought him down, to be sure. We'll see if he can make a comeback or have a big influence about what happens in the future. But the thing that really hangs in the balance right now, he's going to fight all the way to the last day. It's just his style. Get used to it if you don't like it too bad. Is what he's going to do in Georgia. He needs to get the Republicans to come out. There's going to be so many illegal and unlawful ballots coming in, 95, 98% Democrat. It's going to take every single Republican vote in Georgia to overcome these idiots and monsters. The Senate is the firewall. The building is burning. The Senate is the firewall, stopping the whole place from burning to the ground. The founding fathers set up these safeguards just for situations like this. But they're not perfect. They're not perfect. If they tie in the Senate, our country is in big trouble for at least a generation. Yeah, Joe Manchin says he won't vote for court packing or defunding police and this and that. But the immigration bills they're going to pass, statehood tries for D.C. and Puerto Rico, it's the same thing as stacking the Supreme Court, making it so there'll be one-party rule in this country, at least at the federal level, for a half a century. They're sharks, and they smell blood in the water, and they don't care if it's a little baby drowning or a grown person. They're going to eat you because they have no conscience. None. And I'm speaking really bitterly because everybody knows what happened. And even here at the local level, how Democrats operate is why I left. The vast majority, not all, but the vast majority of them are just evil, self-centered, unbelievable narcissists. You look up narcissist in the dictionary, and it has a picture of the head of the DNC. Anyway, enough about that. I wanted to show you what Larry had to say. He's a sharp guy. And also wanted to show you this website here, as you see on top, bizpacreview.com. I gave them $10. They have a contribution tab. You can, feel if it's necessary, but they're very conservative, and it's a very good site. Well, folks, until next time, goodbye and good luck.